for joining me. I wanted to speak to y'all again. We are at the time of filming this now experiencing our new moon in Taurus. And sometimes I prefer to actually speak to a transit while it's actually going on. I feel like this is the most organic and lived way to experience astrology because it's accurate. During the actual timing, we do get to experience these actual dynamics. I also didn't really like my video yesterday. I don't think it was very harmful necessarily, so I'll leave it up, but they can't always be winners. And so I'm going to speak a little bit more about this current new moon in this space, a bit of a different space. And I don't know if y'all can hear, but there's actually a lawnmower going on in the background, and that's something that's frustrating in terms of what I'd like to express in the space I'd like to create with y'all right now. But I think it's also something that can be a little bit symbolic and reflective of the collective experience in this forthcoming lunar cycle as well. So I actually have some earplugs in, and this is like the story of my life. It seems like me, it's always about wearing earplugs when there's lawnmowers in the background. But I don't know if you all can hear that lawnmower. I actually recommend, for the purpose of this video, that maybe you put some nice relaxing music on simultaneously, or some kind of meditative hum or tone, as that's going to kind of help with the intention and the seed that we can be sowing under this new moon in Taurus, happening just now as I am speaking to you and streaming this video live. Now, this new moon is ruled by Venus in the sign of Gemini, Mercury's sign. Both Venus and Mercury are conjoined the north node of the moon under this new moon. So there really is something symbolic, and there is a seed we can be sowing here for beauty, for learning, for wisdom, for truth. And there's also this beauty of diversity that I'll specifically be speaking to under this new moon, because I got a little bit ahead of myself, as I tend to in the last video, and I was kind of speaking for our upcoming eclipse season. We are more skilled with a more diverse portfolio than we have been led to believe, and we're sowing an intention to discover more of ourselves, to discover more of the different sides of ourselves. This new moon in Taurus, combined with this theme of Gemini, is really beautiful for actualizing our own craftiness. It's like we've all got hobbies, we've all got gifts that could be on the back burner, but regardless, there's really an opportunity to create this space for that which we love, to create these opportunities to share and connect a little bit more of what it is that we're particularly, lights us up, that really gives us this spark of freshness and meaning, of life and light. And so when we're talking about Taurus, where we're sowing this new moon, this new seed, and every new moon is a period for us to really get in touch with ourselves inwardly. This is always an opportunity for us to be in our inner sphere, our inner world, in touch with our senses, our imagination, and what's coming from this self-reflection, what's coming from inside of ourselves. And we're sowing a seed at this time for things of beauty. That's Taurus, things of beauty, things of interest, It's like we're really going to be able to get our hands, our hearts, our minds into something that we're going to be able to explore, we're going to be able to admire. And the whole journey of learning, this journey of discovery, it is an admiration of life. It is a discovery of beauty, the discovery of what is the truth, what is life, what is nature. These are things of beauty that we get to explore, we get to admire, we get to look at from every angle and just create this space of appreciation, this space of appreciation beginning in our heart. That spark of joy, that spark of newness, that freshness, that's really going to hold open a doorway for us this next coming lunar cycle, these coming weeks. In some way, shape, or form, where that inner child spark of adventure is leading us, this is going to open some doorways for us in these coming days and weeks, in the near future. This spark of joy, I like to describe it as that feeling we had ideally when we were children, when life was new and the world was huge and life is an adventure and there's always something to discover. And when we grow up, that feeling, when we grow up, there's something huge we're going to be, and we get to discover that sense of discovery, and we get to play and explore to uncover and discover what that is. And while we were children, ideally, we had that sense of openness and freedom and vastness. And when we grow up, we can be an astronaut or a scuba diver, or this sense of being on this adventure, and that's going to open up doorways for us. That's going to open up channels. And while these channels and these doorways are opening, it's creating a sense of new life. It is as if there are these limbs that have fallen asleep. There's these phantom limbs that are coming back online as we are tapping more into the totality of who we are. And who we are in totality is diverse. We are multifaceted, multi-conglomerate, composite beings. And what we're sowing a seed for at the time of this new moon coming into our forthcoming eclipse cycle is to have this supportive, free, creative space, so to experiment and discover more of this diverse, multifaceted, multi-capable aspect of ourself. We can all find more of our own inner polymath, beginning with the intentions, the feelings, the needs being sown in this new moon, blossoming and unfolding through these next roughly 4 weeks. Gemini is the reality that nature expresses through diversity. The expression of diversity is inherent in nature, in the expression of beauty. Nature is, we are more beautiful, diverse, and multi-capable than we've been led to believe. So under this new moon, we are sowing a seed with our hearts and our minds. It is as if there is a new learning journey that is just about to begin. And it's like that feeling when we were first going into school, and it's the school that we chose, and it was the curriculum that we always wanted, that excitement that we get to learn, and we get to create the structure for this learning, and we get to discover the ingredients for this recipe. We get to discover what we're going to be playing with, these raw materials, and the spaces that we'll be working in, and what that looks like, and and how we're going to be bringing that in the future. You know, it's that feeling, that experience that we had when we're these new students and we're just getting the test drive, these new materials, and it's like the first time we're getting our hands on these materials. It's the first time that we're getting to have this learning experience, and it satiates that inner student. It satiates that curiosity, that drive to taste, to learn, to have this open road where the pot is big enough for our roots to grow, for us to flourish. See, in order for us to Taurus flourish, to experience the full taste of abundance, we must have that pot that is large enough for our roots to grow and diversify. That's what's taking place. There is this repotting that's taking place. And here, sure, there is this bumpiness. There is the lawnmower in the background. There is this emergency in terms of resources and money and business and society and nations and exchange. That's where this divine experiment is taking place, and where future orchestration is shifting in key, is shifting in pace into something completely new and different. And so, of course, even some of the comments I'm reading while I'm streaming this live is that this new moon is unknown, it's mysterious, it's bumpy, it's unpredictable, and this is the future landing. I mean, this is you know, what we experience while we're on the airplane, and there is that shifting of elevation or altitude. There is that bumpiness which is to be expected while the future is landing. There is the going back and forth, and there is at this time, I mean, the astrology is the moon's nodes are aligned with the nodes of Uranus. This new moon is conjunct Uranus, so there's this Uranian dimension of dimension hopping, which can include all the themes of trauma, PTSD, time travel, extraterrestrials, how consciousness gets fragmented under traumatic stress, and how consciousness can refragment itself back together through this connection to and understanding of Uranus, the reality of non-linear time. We are all time travelers in certain respects. We've all experienced traumas in the past, and we heal by traveling back to those experiences and bringing those lost fragments or parts of ourself back into our integrative whole. This is a part of the exploration of diversity that's on the menu these coming weeks as well, is that there's these, again, what may have been phantom limbs, parts of ourself that have fallen asleep. They've gone offline. The circulation to those parts have lessened. It's as if those parts have died, but they have not actually died. We're redirecting this fundamental life force, including creativity, resources, back to those parts, so that way we can revitalize Taurus, rejuvenate, nourish and nurture ourselves back together. But this is also what those parts are that have fallen asleep and gone offline, are the parts that want to be remembered, are the parts that want to be reaccessed. And that's where the mercurial curiosity and desire to learn and experiment and not just live life, but really know it, really understand what it is that we're working with, and to again get a little bit deeper into that which we love, that which we appreciate. We're creating this tasty platter that is filling up our consciousness, and at the same time it's taking us on a learning journey. So this is a very Mercury-centric period that is opening up. We are learning. I mean, what is learning? Is a part of this experience, this taste, and this discovery. Because what I was trying to get to in my prior video is that this projection upon intelligence lessens what intelligence is. No, Mercury Gemini is not just a computer. It's not just this Western white man privileged intellectual, you know, based, learning system that's super biased and super hierarchical, infrastructural. That is a huge distortion and limitation of what, the Greeks and the Stoics and the ancients and the witches, the wise souls understood wisdom and intelligence to be. So again, Mercury Gemini is the planet of magicians, and what learning truly is opening to potential, uncovering more and more beauty and depth, discovering more of life. And as we discover more of life is coming online. We're discovering more of our own potentiality. There are unseen colors. There are untasted flavors. There are faces unmet. So, this is the feeling that we want to sow, the seed that we want to pay attention to. What are the needs, the desires of this seed? Because we are nourishing and nurturing this new fragile plant into development. So, what does the future look like to you? Let's get into this new moon first of all. Again, I apologize if there's a lawnmower. I have my earplugs in, and maybe you'd like to play some meditative or relaxing music in the background. But maybe take a few seconds and a few moments here just to get settled where you are. Maybe you'd like to close your eyes if that feels comfortable and relaxing to you. And just notice what it feels like to be seated where you are, the feeling of the chair, the feeling of your feet make contact with the earth. And maybe you notice the positioning of your hands. Maybe you're noticing that one of your hands is a little more relaxed than the other. Just paying attention to your body. Notice what you are sensing. Maybe there's some sounds you can hear off in the distance, and just notice what that is. And maybe there's something that you could feel in your immediate environment. Maybe there's a sound that's coming from a closer space. And while you are settling down, and while you are settling in, and feeling more relaxed, and feeling more at ease, now we can be carried effortlessly into this creative space where we can program, we can sow a seed for the future in our bodies, using our own feelings to navigate. What does that future look like for you? Our inner child is at the wheel now. Our curiosity, our capability to grow up and be and do anything, and create that space where we are free to actualize our gifts and have that open road to take the car wherever we want to go. Here in this feeling of openness, maybe it's the feeling of being on the back of a horse riding through a clear and open plain, or it's the feeling of being on the top of a mountain where there's a vast space. You have creative control. In this spaciousness, you can bring in what you want. You can bring in and fill up this space everything that reminds you of who you are. Everything that feels absolutely right to you. And you know it's right for you because it feels right for you. And you know it's a part of your life and your journey because it fills you up. It's satiating, it's tasty, you love it, you want to share it, you want to talk about it. What does that look like for you? Perhaps you see yourself in some type of environment. What's in that space? Are there any people there? Are there conversations going on? Is it a busy space? Or is it a quiet space? Is it an empty space? Is it like a library? Maybe people's there, but everybody's focused on something. What are they doing? What are you doing? What colors are there? Is it a bright space? Is there sun there? Is it more of a dark space? Is it more inside? Is it outside? And really get into your body. Really feel what it's like to be in this new space, in these new interactions. Get into your body. What does that feel like to you? What is your body doing? Are you in more of a space of being held? Do you feel relaxed? Are you able to go slower? Are you able to go at your own pace? And what does that pace feel like to you? What does that pace taste like? What do you need to create that way and pace of doing and sharing what really fills you up and what really works well for you? What is that rhythm like? Beginning at the start of your day, when you first wake up in the morning, what does that first initial morning feel like in this new space, in this future? What are you doing when you first wake up? And you're now in this new space, and you're now beginning a new day. Where is your consciousness going? Where are you being led? How have you set up that space to create your day? How is that day going to unfold in this new space, in this new setup that you have created? And now as you're getting into that day, what does that day feel like as you're getting into it? Are there any things that you've set off to accomplish? Are there some things that you've set up for yourself? You know, it took some time to get warmed up, and now you're getting warmed up, and now you're getting into it. Those tasks that you've wanted to check off, those things you've wanted to learn, those projects you've wanted to create, those hobbies you've been waiting to actualize. See yourself in that space now. notice how good it feels to be in that space, to be in that creative groove. And you're noticing how good it feels to be accomplishing what you want to, because it honors you, it honors your taste, it's your style. And you notice how good it feels to be honoring that taste and that style, and to really be setting out and to really be creating and accomplishing what you want to. And as that day is coming to a close and you're looking back on that day and everything that you accomplished, as well as all of the space and the time that you needed to relax or go offline, and what were those extra things? Because it was more than just what you needed to get checked off that you were able to accomplish in this day. You were able to meet a whole portfolio, a whole diversity of, you could even say, scattered, all over the place, all sorts of different things, all sorts of different people, all sorts of different activities going on. As you look back on that day, what might be some of those things that were extra, that were additional, that were more than just the things that you checked off? These were the extra things that made that an awesome day. These are the extra things that are your little caricature, are your little signature that makes this day your day. It's your taste, it's your flavor. It's exactly how you want to have a day. It's exactly how you want to live your life. And you're going to bed and you feel that. You feel your day. You feel your life, your style. You're full of all of those interests. You're charged with everything that you love. These are things, people, and activities that have a particular flavor, you could say. There's a type of dust or an energy that has rubbed off on you. And as you're falling asleep, you're simply basking in those flavors, those scents. You're well marinated. And you're just noticing right now what those flavors are. How that feels to be in that space where you're simply held by those flavors and perfumes that you've chosen to decorate yourself with. You've chosen to decorate yourself with all of those beautiful things, those things that you appreciate, those things that remind you of who you are, what you love, what you're interested in. It's your heart. As you are being held by this inner embrace, as you are held in this space full of your own essence and perfume, you recognize the treasure that you are. You recognize how valuable every little piece and part of you is. Because you get to see, you get to shine, you get to celebrate every single piece and part of who you are. You get to munch on it. You get to enjoy it. It is your platter. It's your treasure chest. And you get to celebrate, share, bring into school for show and tell everything that you love, everything that's tasty, that brings you light, that brings you life. Because you know when you make contact with, when you touch something that lights you up, something that's tasty and exciting for you, you know that's who you are. You know that's who you are meant to be. That's what you're meant to explore. That's what you're meant to taste and celebrate. So no longer do we hesitate, creating this space where we get to marinate in our treasure and celebrate our inner beauty that is our gift to embody, own, and share. Feel yourself grounded in this. This appreciation is yours. It's yours to discover more and more of as you're uncovering your own creative process, what it is that we're all going to be teaching, learning, showing, and telling, and sharing in these forthcoming weeks. This new moon, taking us through this forthcoming eclipse season, is going to bring us into some tremendous self-reflection. We get to reorient ourselves to the whole. And as we do this, we're going to be discovering new parts of ourselves, new dimensions, new possibilities. It really is this new chapter that we get to introduce to ourselves. We're teaching ourselves the future. There are new languages with new alphabets that will be formulating new sentences, means of expression, means of connection, how we communicate and express beauty, how we diversify, interconnect, and exchange beauty, love, as well as resources, money, all the above. But we get to discover this new alphabet, this new language, and how does that new language function? And does that new language flow in a particular way? And why does it flow in a particular way? What does that express? What does that communicate? For what function? And how can we use, embrace, and use this function in ever new, creative, experimental, and fun ways? So, this has been our new moon channeling. Thank you for joining me on this experience, because this is an experience that we get to really taste and share together. So I have the link to my community in the description. That's where a lot of this treasure is being circulated. There are so many polymaths with so many beautiful, diverse gifts. You're invited to show and tell with me now into the future on the community. Please take care of yourself. Give yourself the space and time that you need for that inner self-reflection and connection, especially today as we sow this seed for the next lunar cycle. Much love, everybody.